And welcome back to Tight Sports, everybody. I just want to get into something. You can see what's on the little thumbnail there, and I do want to talk about the worst coach in college football. It's not right for me to call somebody out like that, but relax. I think the worst coach in college football is making the worst calls that I've seen ever has to be Coach Analytics. I mean, I am absolutely getting sick and tired of watching coaches get paid fairly well to do some of the dumbest things that I've seen in my many decades of watching football. And what's crazy is when it doesn't work the first time, some of these guys will make the same mistake 2 to 3 times, and it just don't make no sense. And I understand taking a chance, but ruining the flow of your game, your team's chi or whatever, your energy of your team, but doing that because taking a shot is one thing, but doing it because of something you saw in a book, that just don't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, one of my favorite coaches is Coach Saban, as many as you know. Stand up. That's right. That's right. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Mm-hmm. Okay. And allegedly, it was said that one of his assistants asked him to, hey, coach, step into 2023, or not 2023, but step into the 21st century and get into this analytics stuff. And this coach, who will remain nameless, he was told after a brief butt chewing that basically he needs to go and stay in his own lane. Stay in your own lane. Own lane. Well, if you remember the national championship where let's see, Alabama finally beat Clemson. There were chances taken, but I imagine those were decisions made from the gut and not from the database. And here's exactly 3 reasons I think that coach analytics is absolutely the worst thing in college football. Point number 1. Coach analytics cannot tell you during a game what's going on with your player's mind. Did your center stay up all night? Did the equipment manager or underpaid staffer take something out of somebody's locker? And are your players concentrating on getting revenge on the person that stole from them? Or are they, really focused on making the next 70 or so agonizing plays to benefit your team? Where's their headspace right now? Did your players lose somebody special? It all happens to everybody. We lose very important people. I know I have. It could be a loved one that passed on to the great end zone in the sky for the big touchdown. And sometimes it could be that your girlfriend decides that, football players are not as hot as basketball players or hockey players or field hockey players.
What are you talking about?
Depending on what school you go to. Coach analytics doesn't consider that sometimes your running back or dual threat quarterback has just had enough of that defense today. No. And they're just plain old, cautious, plain a little timid, or just plain old scared about putting their head in the A, B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sticking their head in that little spot that you drew up on the old whiteboard. You see, Coach, what was missing from the play on that whiteboard that you said we got to run because Coach Analytics said run it, it didn't tell me that linebacker over there, he was willing to do anything to change his mother's future. That linebacker would do anything to make sure his dad never worked again. Your whiteboard coach didn't tell your players on this crucial play that linebacker over there or that strong safety would run his own grandmother over to prevent going back to that housing complex they came from. The one that's either run by the government or the one that you attach the wheels to. That little X on the whiteboard can't tell you all that. Point number 2. Coach Analytics is a static thinker. You see, when you solve a question like, what is 2 plus 2? It's 4. It's 4. It's already, it don't change. Daytime is 2, nighttime is 2. In the morning it's going to be 2. They don't change. They're fixed. Numbers and statistics, they are fixed based on some point in time. They don't tell you whether it was 70 degrees. They don't tell you what that dude is, whether it was windy. It don't tell you what that dude was thinking about passing his next accounting test, or if this dude is wondering if he's going in the first or second round. It don't tell you all that. A static figure lacks the notion of movement, change, and more importantly, action. Like Beast Mode said, it's all about an action, boss, right? This is contrary to the very nature of football, which is dynamic. Football is full of change. It's got plenty of action, just a lot of movement. So why on the earth would you make the most critical decisions with something contrary to the activity in which you're engaged? Have you ever thought about going to play basketball at the old gym, on the hardwood court? Make sure you take your football cleats. Don't make sense, do it? Well, that's what's happening out here a lot of times. Analytics does not consider what happens to the morale of a team when we go for it on 4th and 2, down by 10 or 20, and we don't make it. Or my favorite, these coaches that are down by 10, down by 17, we're inside the 5-yard line. We ain't not even thinking about the reason we're down on the 5-yard line is because we had 2 15-yard penalties against the defense. We got a holding that gave us automatic first down. We really only gained about 17 yards this whole series, and it's been grueling. And, one of those plays of unsportsmanlike conduct on the sideline got us all the way down to the 5, and we've gotten stuffed. Whether we was passing or running, we've been stuffed 3 plays in a row, down by 17 points. And this dude was like, we're going to go. We're going to go. Knowing good and well, the kicker done hit about 30 kicks all year inside the 20. We're just down a little bit. We're just 3 points. That would be nice. Now, you got to look at, now you look out there and you don't get it and you wind up with nothing. And I know in their hearts, those players would rather be down by 14 to 17 going into halftime. And this is another thing. Coaches, you've been watching your players for 3 quarters. Coach analytics doesn't know that in your heart, that your players are not operating at their optimal ability, or that 4 of them are just not in the best of health. So don't ignore your gut feelings, coaches, or divine intervention. I don't know how many times Jesus just did not want me to make a complete fool of myself. I mean, I stopped counting at 9,999. Point number 3. Coach analytics is not as smart as his older brother. NFL analytics. When it comes to using numbers to make decisions, it's important that you compare apples to apples. It's called parity in the NFL. And the NFL enjoys more parity than any other football division, conference, or league. So when we hear of analytics in the NFL, I'm more than sure they're using stuff over the past 10, maybe 15 years. There's no need of comparing the numbers of Aaron Donald to that of the great, legendary, mean Joe Green, best, greatest defensive lineman ever played. Mean Joe Green. So they're going to use stuff that's current, Baby brother coaching analytics. Where are you getting these numbers from? These numbers don't make any sense. See, I watch more than the big boys. I watch everybody. I'm watching the game with, Southeast Louisiana, where the analytics say you go for it right here. Are these numbers isolated by FBS, by conference, division, conferences, decade? Because we all know sometimes even in the SEC East don't even compare with the SEC West. I mean, when I was walking around Birmingham one time, Somebody said that the commissioner of the SEC actually invited the SEC East to join the ACC. That's what I heard. I don't know if that was actually true. That's what I heard. I have a sneaky suspicion that these third or fourth and short plays that are kind of based on the works of the great Tim Tebow, or perhaps the greatest college football player to ever play. Let me preface this with a Roll Tide, but I'm talking about the Sir Cam Newton. And maybe it happened. I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention. But that magical year, I don't remember that man missing anything considered to be 3rd and 4 or less. I don't remember. It may have happened. He was playing Alabama and we was winning. It may have happened right there. Maybe he didn't get a 3rd and 3. Maybe he missed a 3rd and 3.5. But that whole season, and especially in that second half, I'm having a flashback. Didn't happen. So let me suggest, Coach Analytics, that you remove these performances of these great players, anybody that got a Heisman Trophy, Derrick Henry, who's a super freak, what's his name? Some of the great quarterbacks that have played. You take their numbers out. All those Oklahoma 4th and shorts with those quarterbacks they have from the Pac-12, whatever. Take all that stuff out. Or just leave the stuff alone. To even quantify these numbers down to where they make sense, doing it by a conference, it may make some sense. But even let's look at Alabama for a second. One day we got McElroy. Next time we have McCarron, and we think we'd all pass a machine under McCarron. And then comes Tua. Then you got Jalen. Then comes Bryce. What iteration of the University of Alabama do you base the doggone statistics on? I just can't believe that these highly paid coaches are using numbers that consider FCS successes, D3 successes, or the prior successes of great programs like the great Tuskegee University, Mount Union, North or South Dakota State, to try to catch a break against Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, or Michigan? That is complete and utter nonsense, people. It was my great professor, Dr. Leo Upchurch, at Tuskegee that taught us the power of numbers and the wonderful assumptions that could be derived from the proper application of statistics. But most of all, he taught us to challenge numbers given to us by other people. I'm not going to get all political here, but that was life-changing. So I suggest that quality coaches do the same and stop screwing up games. Just stop it. Coaches, embrace your gut feelings in the flow of the game, because some of you are ruining the continuity of this sport and your own legacy. Many of you know you've always been horrible at mathematics, let alone statistics. So let's keep it real and stay inside of a coach's place and leave all the tricky analytics to the cool kids. You know, them folks used to kind of hit with the towel. Huh? Hey, look at that bookworm. Yeah, you know what you did to us. It wasn't right. But we better now. Final tip. Fire every analytic consultant in your complex or program and hire another football assistant coach or 3. And let's not forget, set all of the computers on fire. Burn them, brother. Burn them all up.